A new £100 million offer is being reported to be incoming from Chelsea for Moises Caicedo. We're looking at the Maguire situation as a done deal is now reached, and he will become a West Ham player, and Liverpool increasing their bid to £50 million for Lavia. What is going to happen with Arsenal's pursuit of him? Miguel Delaney still linking him to them if Balogun leaves, and Mohamed Kudus along with Chelsea. Matt Law here stating that Chelsea certainly like him, Mohamed Kudus, despite Brighton having an agreement. I wouldn't cross this one off the list for Chelsea. Lots of transfer updates this evening. Hit the like button for us, though. Subscribe to the Football Terrace right now. Turn on those bell notification buttons, and of course, follow us on TikTok. An evening edition of the Done Deal Show. Let's go! I'm going to speak Chelsea, Arsenal, Kudus, Lavia, Caicedo to come. But I wanted to start, they're kind of interlinked, so I want to go through them together. I wanted to start off with the breaking news here that West Ham have reached an agreement with Harry Maguire over personal terms. The clubs have an agreement on a £30 million deal, and Harry Maguire, the ex-Man United captain, will be moving to the East End of London, and I could not be happier. I'm over the moon. I am buzzing my nut off. I really am. I think this is a great move for Maguire. He'll improve at West Ham. He'll get back to being that top centre-back that made it into the England squad, who was brilliant at Leicester. In fact, his first 18 months at Manchester United was pretty damn good, especially his first season where he was impeccable. But the confidence has gone. The relationship with the fans have gone. United, of course, are never going to recoup all the money they invested into the player, but £30 million is a lot more than everybody expected us to be able to generate. Plus, it's nearly £200,000 a week off of the wage bill for the club. And that is, in my personal opinion, the most important element of this deal. So I'm very happy that it's over the line. I'd love to gauge your opinions, your views, your feelings surrounding this, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're leaving your comments below right now. But Maguire will be a West Ham player. Now, moving on to Chelsea. This report here in the Evening Standard states that Chelsea will make a fresh offer for Moises Caicedo. It says the Blues have had multiple offers to bring Caicedo to the club from Brighton, but have been rejected at every turn. However, it says here there could be some movement. According to transfer journalists, the Blues are set to launch a new bid to Brighton to be very close to their £100 million asking price. And we all know how important this deal is to Chelsea Football Club. We know how much of an impeccable football player he is. They're still leading this race. Personal terms were agreed many, many weeks ago, probably months ago now. If you go back and look at the origins of those stories, Caicedo wants to be there. He hasn't been training. He's been pushing hard for the move. But Tony Bloom and Brighton have remained resolute. They've remained strong. They've remained very kind of stern on the fact that they will not budge. They will not budge on the asking price. They want in and around that £100 million fee. We've already seen Chelsea lose a star player and Kunku to a 3.5 to 4 month long injury. The last thing they now need is something to happen to an Enzo or another central midfield player, because they are light in that area. They need to bring Caicedo in, one, to complete that very exciting, very promising, young, dynamic, technically brilliant pair of Enzo and Moises Caicedo together. That South American flair, power, speed, as I've already mentioned, technical ability is a worrying thought for me as a rival of Chelsea. They have to get it done. Looks like they're going to go big again on this deal. Chelsea fans, let me know your thoughts and feelings. Now, staying with Chelsea, very interesting piece of news here from Matt Law on a podcast where he stated that Chelsea certainly like Mohamed Kudus. He says, despite what Brighton may have agreed, until anything is actually announced with Brighton, I wouldn't cross that one off the list. And this has been the story for 4 or 5 days now. There's a done deal between the football clubs. Brighton and Ajax have agreed on a fee for the transfer of Mohamed Kudus. But unlike 95% of transfers done in this era, the personal terms have not been agreed prior. Mohamed Kudus is happy with the personal terms that have been offered by Brighton. He'll be on around about £25,000 to £30,000 a week, making him one of the highest paid players, maybe even the highest paid player in Brighton's history. However, and this is key to this deal, he hasn't signed off on them yet. He hasn't even verbally agreed to them because he is waiting on Chelsea, and we're led to believe he's waiting on Arsenal. So Matt Law here confirming that, which is very, very intriguing. Personally, with Nkunku out, I think Chelsea should move for him. I also think Arsenal should move for him with their need for support for Saka, with Gabriel Jesus already picking up an injury. In fact, I'm not convinced by Kai Havertz. I think Arsenal need to make this move as well. Get rid of Balogun if you really don't think he's good enough. If you really don't want to give him the game time, and bring in Mohamed Kudus. Class on the grass. This man really is. If you let him go to Brighton, he's still attainable in 2 or 3 years' time, but maybe at 3 times the price. 35-40 million is what has been quoted as the price the player's available for. Now, moving on to Arsenal within this segment and story, it's something Miguel Delaney has said here, that Arsenal could move for Lavia. We'll come back to Lavia in a moment. If Balogun goes to one of the Milan clubs, it is understood that Mikel is currently favours Mohamed Kudus due to a particular idea he has for his midfield. So Miguel Delaney here still stating that Arsenal, they could move for Lavia, but Mohamed Kudus is still the guy they're focusing on. Is still the individual that Arsenal believe they can land and bring in. Now, Balogun leaving is key to that. So this is why I'm not surprised, to go back to the story about Chelsea here, that Mohamed Kudus has not agreed on those personal terms. I mean this with all due respect to Brighton. If you're sitting there thinking, look, Brighton want to take us to the Prem, want to triple our money, want to make us richer, give us a first team berth. But if you know that Chelsea and Arsenal are also going to give you a lot of first team opportunity and probably double, maybe even 3 times the wages that Brighton are going to give you, you have to hold on. Mohamed Kudus would be a fool, in my opinion, to agree to go to Brighton when those two teams are circling. The project at Chelsea is new with Poch, but exciting. A lot of money being invested, and a lot of people believe Chelsea will get themselves back to winning ways. When you look at Arsenal, title challengers last year, improved their squad this summer, definitely in the running for the title, and they want to improve their squad to compete on all fronts. A very exciting project with one of the best young up-and-coming managers in the world. Why would you not be interested? So I say watch this space when it comes to Mohamed Kudus. Chelsea, Arsenal, both still in this race for him as of right now. He could end up at Brighton, but we could see a big U-turn in this as well. The Arsenal bit about from Miguel Delaney, who mentioned Lavia. What's really interesting is this story has come out from Sacha Tavernieri, one of the best and leading journalists in the world when it comes to the Belgian players. And he says here that Southampton now believe that Liverpool will pay their expected price of £50 million for Lavia. And we've all seen this. It's been horrendous. It's been horrendous for Liverpool. Desperate need for a DM, especially to integrate him in pre-season. Hasn't happened. It's going to be hard enough for a young DM like Lavia, as talented as he is, to run a Liverpool midfield for 50, 60 games this season anyway, let alone not getting pre-season with you and a long, drawn-out saga that puts even more eyes on you and attention on you. But it does now appear they're going to pay the $50 million. So I'm very intrigued to see what maybe Arsenal do, who are still linked with him, or anybody else that may still hold an interest in bringing the young Belgian man into their midst this summer. But for me, I've said all along, like Caicedo to Chelsea, I think that will happen. I do think Liverpool will be the club that lands Lavia. And they are signing a massive talent. Please don't twist my words into Terry doesn't think Lavia is very good. He is. I think he's got the ability to become one of the leading DMs in the Premier League and therefore, in turn, Europe. He absolutely could. But Liverpool should have paid in and around this asking price weeks ago, because they've overhauled their midfield and the midfield haven't played a game together yet. So in real time, they've got to create that chemistry. And remember, Liverpool's target is to win the league. It isn't to come 5th or 4th or 3rd. It's to win the league title. That is a standard that has been created by Klopp, created by FSG, and their fans are demanding that level of standard persists, doesn't go away, isn't faded, isn't suddenly allowed to reduce and go backwards like it did through the 90s and the noughties and the early part of the sort of the post Fergie era. Like, they started to improve. They've got to maintain their standards because they were at the top. They're not a club that's been failing for 10 years, failing for 20 years, trying to get back to the top. This is the team that was there. And of course, you can have off seasons, you can have a dip, but you can't have a double dip. You can't have a double dip and stay where they were last season, 2 years on the bounce. I don't even think Klopp should be allowed to recover from that. Has to turn it round, have to get this player in. But where do you think he'll end up? Do you think Liverpool will pay that £50 million? I personally do. It's really interesting because I think if they still had their old board or their old kind of sporting director, I think this deal would have been done ages ago for about 35, 40 million. Just goes to show when you have a quality man or woman in that position, when the personnel is right, the clubs run different. Listen, viewers, I appreciate you all tuning in as ever. You don't know how humbling it is to me. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Peace.